Follow along with me through this hip mobilizing session. We've got 4 movements that will take about 5 minutes. We're starting in an 8 position and reaching forward, alternately with driving the knees and hips forward and reaching the arms open and back. You can adjust your hip height as you go. Don't worry about whether or not they can get all the way down there or not. Next, we're going to plant our hands on the ground, our feet or shins, wherever you need, driving the elbows inside the knees, and then lifting the hips, trying to extend the knees as much as possible, and relaxing the head down into a nice big forward fold. Last sequence in the 8 position, we are doing a side body stretch. So reaching across, and notice that arm that's not reaching is grasping the opposite ankle and giving a little push into the with the shoulder into the opposite knee. Next, we're going to move on and do a little bit of a hip flexor stretch. So if you've got tight hip flexors, this should feel challenging and good. Take the reaching arm should be the arm that is in line with the forward foot. And then the opposite hand could just cross over to the shoulder on that reaching arm. And then the goal is to, either with a bent knee in front or straight like I've got here, try to twist back and find some real estate behind you. It can be that opposite ankle, it can be the calf, it can be the back of the thigh, it can be the ground behind the toes if you really got this figured out. This next movement will get us onto our seat, and we'll be working on some hip rotation here. So sitting with the knees dropping to one side and the leading foot touching the trailing thigh, I want you to just swap sides. So the lead foot becomes the trailing foot and vice versa. And you can add a little bit of a forward fold, keeping the tailbone tucked once you get into that position. You can also spread your feet out into 90-degree angles through both knees and the groin, and it makes it much more challenging. So any place between that shin box and this 90-90 position is just fine. Find what works for you. It feels like it's a 7 or 8 out of 10 on stress or feedback. And then notice I'm peeling my trailing knee up first, and then when I can't go any further with it, I let my lead knee release and swap sides. Last one, we're going to go back to our knees, but just one at a time. Stretch one leg out to the side and let the other kneeling foot just turn over so the laces side of your foot is into the floor. You can plant your hands or you can float your hands. And we're just driving the hips back toward that kneeling heel. You should feel a nice stretch through the adductor on that stretched out leg. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to comment below. Let me know how your hips are feeling after this work. And also put a couple of these in your memory bank for next time you need a little movement break.